Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be working with tofu. Yeah, tofu. Again, isn't this like, is this the third time I've worked with tofu on here? I don't know. Probably, maybe. It's a wonderful vessel for flavor, so can you blame me really? Anyways, here I have 6 ounces of dried out tofu, or just tofu that I had wrapped in a towel sitting under this cast iron, and then in the cast iron I had an actual mortar and pestle. This stuff is pretty heavy altogether, so just basically get like heavy pots and pans, wrap your tofu up with a towel, and then balance it on top of that. So I noticed that my thing was like really dirty, so I had to kind of clean it up a little bit. Anyways, our 6 ounces of tofu, we're going to get a cutting board and we are going to start chopping it into squares. Now I was trying to figure out how to start that, so I just had to cut the little extra bit off. Every time I cut tofu, I'm pretty sure I can't cut it straight for some reason. I don't know what happens with my knife. I'm just going to cut them up into little cubes, roughly all the same size, and then it's just easier to cook. Trust me, you will definitely thank me. Then you're just going to toss your tofu into a bowl. Actually, you might want to have 2 bowls at the time, one for your tofu and then one for your sauce, but we're not at the sauce part yet. So you just want to chop up all 6 ounces of your tofu. And you're probably like, wait, so why is it drained? Why is your tofu like dry-ish? The reason is, like, imagine if you had a sponge that was already soaked up with water, right? You wouldn't be able to get more water soaked up into there because it's already, it's already done. It's already full with water. So that's basically the same thing with tofu. You have to get all or as much as the moisture out of there as you can before you add any of your sauces to get the best results with flavor. Anyways, into a separate bowl, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, 3 teaspoons of lime juice, 1 teaspoon of hot sauce. I used sriracha because that's what the recipe said. We also had that, and I also didn't think Texas Pete would be like appropriate for this recipe, so I just did sriracha. And then also 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. I think I added 2, but it's okay, just 1.5 to 2 tablespoons. And then in addition to that, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Then we are just going to mix that all up until the sugar, or our brown sugar, is dissolved. Then we're going to take our cubes of tofu and just plop them in there. This isn't actually in the recipe, as the first time I made this, which is what you're seeing now, I actually misread the recipe, but trust me, this is the secret thing that you're supposed to do, because it just, there's double the flavor. It's genuinely like the best thing I've ever made. Anyways, you want to mix that all together, make sure everything is covered. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. In addition to the cornstarch, we're also going to add, it says a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. I only had black pepper. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I just added a sprinkle of both. I didn't add as much salt as I guess you would expect, because there's already plenty of soy sauce in this recipe, considering we will be doubling the sauce. And we're going to place that to the side. And grab our cutting board one last time. Onto our cutting board, we are going to cut okay, so my knives are very dull, if you didn't notice. So eventually we're going to cut 3 peppers, or 2 big peppers. I have smaller peppers, and you just want to slice them up into pretty decent sized matchsticks. Then you're going to place all of your matchsticks into a bowl. In addition to the peppers, we are also going to mince up a couple cloves of garlic. The original recipe, I'm pretty sure it said 5. Yeah, 5 to 6 large garlic cloves. So that's pretty cool. Then in addition to the garlic, you're going to add about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. The original recipe said to add about a tablespoon of just ginger, just like regular peeled, chopped, grated, pressed ginger, however you prepare it. but I didn't have that on me at the time, so I just added some powdered ginger. I do have regular ginger now, but I think I prefer to use the powdered, so because it cooks off faster, I think, and it's easier to cook off as well as incorporate, and there's like not even a chance of it burning, so I prefer working with that. Then into a cast iron skillet, I'm going to start frying off my tofu, and you're going to want to fry most of the sides, like 3 out of the 4 sides if you can. Make sure they're nice and crispy and brown. And this is basically sealing in all of the flavor, I guess, that we just locked in with the cornstarch, basically making the first batch of sauce on accident and then mixing that together with the cornstarch and the tofu. It's basically locking it in and creating like an outer coating of it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Now, I start with my pan a little too high, so some of them are a little too brown, but like it doesn't affect the taste at all. If anything, it makes it just a little bit more crispier. So like I swear it didn't make it taste burnt. I just added some more oil because it is supposed to be frying. Then when most of our tofu is fried off, we are just going to add our garlic, pepper, ginger mix. And we're just going to pan fry that until the peppers are wilted a little bit. They're not as crunchy. They're not raw peppers anymore, because that'd be a little off-putting, biting into a raw pepper while you're like munching on some tofu. I don't know. For me, that is. Maybe you like that. I'm not here to judge your food taste. Then, as you can see, I'm just adding my sauce. I didn't actually measure it when I was making it here. And then your sauce should thicken up and get nice and sticky and coat literally everything. It is so good. Oh my god. It is 12 a.m. right now when I'm doing this voiceover. And trust me, I want to make this right now because I can taste it. And when everything is nice and coated, you're going to want to add half a cup of your Thai basil. My leaves for Thai basil were pretty small, so the recipe suggests to cut them. I chose not to because like they would have been microscopic and probably would have disappeared off of the recipe, off of my plate, off of my pan, you know? So now it's time for plating. I just made some just regular ramen packaged noodles. I just made those because it suggested to go with noodles, so I went with noodles. And then just drizzled a little bit of sesame oil in there so they don't stick together. You can do rice. The last couple times I have made this, yes, I've made this a couple times. We've used rice because that's what my family preferred. That's what I prefer now, I'm pretty sure. Because the rice soaks up everything, whereas the noodles just kind of have all of whatever sauce that you do get just kind of pooling at the bottom, if that makes sense. Then we're going to add a nice, generous scoop of our Thai basil tofu. And then I have a little Thai basil flour. And then we're going to add some sesame seeds on top. And there's our bowl. Oh, it fell.
Oh, I messed it up.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. So this is one of my favorite recipes. I definitely recommend you try it. This is my family's favorite recipe that I've made, I'm pretty sure. So I wholeheartedly recommend you make this. And yeah, make sure to stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!